My name is Ryan Clanton. I was diagnosed with testicular cancer stage 3 back in 2007, around January, February 2007. I turned 30 that year. So I was 29 when I was diagnosed. I just got married at the middle of 2005. We moved up toward the end of 2005 to Gainesville. About a year and a half into our marriage is when I started kind of feeling discomfort. Went to like an urgent care. They thought, it's just an infection. Here's antibiotics. Take this for 14 days. Come back. So I took it for 14 days, still having a problem. They had me do an ultrasound, and the nurse was doing the ultrasound and kind of looked up at me and then walked out of the room. So I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? So I'm just still sitting there waiting. The doctor comes back in and starts going through the ultrasound with me, and he goes, you see that mass right there? That's cancer. Never expected to hear that word. You know, my family doesn't really have a history of cancer, so getting that diagnosis, I didn't know what to do. When I first met Dr. Gordan, I was kind of unsure of everything. You know, I was just kind of lost, and Dr. Gordan helped bring me back. He always told me, he's like, listen, I'm your doctor, I'll be here, but more than anything, I'm your cheerleader. I will be on your side, I will help you through everything, it doesn't matter.
So when I first met Ryan, again 15, 16 years ago, he was younger, both of us were younger, of course, and he was very scared. Diagnosis of testicular cancer was relatively advanced and required quite aggressive treatment. He endured 4 cycles of heavy-duty chemotherapy. That's what we use, a combination therapy for testicular cancer. He did very well. Of course, the treatment wasn't easy, but in the very beginning, we went through the process of explaining everything about, sperm banking, portacath placement, a discussion about potential side effects of chemotherapy, options, schedule of chemotherapy.
Having a doctor like Dr. Gordan and the nurses that worked with him, it was incredible. They were always there, regardless of how sad I was or whatever. They'd always try to cheer me up. 15 years later, I just wanted to let him know and update, because at the time, with everything, I thought I was never going to be able to have children. He even said, like, before we do the surgery, you need to go to a fertility clinic and bank, because the way this chemotherapy regimen is going to be is probably going to sterilize you for the rest of your life. I don't know, I've always wanted a little one to run around, a boy or a girl, it didn't matter to me. It's just one of those things where you're like, you grow up thinking, I'm going to be a great dad, and then it kind of, the rug gets pulled out from under you.
He wrote me this beautiful letter that I wasn't expecting. It was a normal day in office, busy, 30 plus patients to see, and you get this email, and kind of gave me goosebumps right away, because it's so cool to receive news from a patient you haven't seen or haven't heard for a while. So he went on to describe what happened in his life, new job in new city. He moved to Tallahassee, and now with a child. That's something that he wasn't expecting to be able to conceive, given the rigors of treatment and some underlying issues.
He's 3 years and 4 months old now. He's my little miracle. I mean, I don't know, I just can't even talk about it enough, say anything right, because he just makes me so happy.
Getting him to connect with us again is kind of closes the circle. I met Ryan 15 years ago. He was in a predicament, got a very aggressive therapy, responded well, some complications, did great, cured, and then 15 years later, such a wonderful note I wasn't expecting at all. And sometimes we get these notes once in a while, not as frequent as I'd like to see them. Of course, I'd like to see them once a day. And as I said to him, it didn't make my day, it made my year, and was really, really exciting to see him reach out.